It feels like the AI landscape is just in constant motion, doesn't it? I mean, every single day there's something new.
Oh, absolutely.
A breakthrough, a surprising application, some new debate popping up across basically every field.
It really does. Things that felt, kind of futuristic just a little while ago, they're rapidly becoming real tools, real challenges.
Shaping how we work, how we learn.
Even how we think about information itself, yeah.
And honestly, that pace.
Yeah.
It makes it tough to keep up.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we've pulled together this stack of sources, really. We're doing a deep dive.
Articles, research summaries, notes from developers, even like snippets from online forums.
Exactly. And our mission today is basically to help you cut through all that noise.
Right. We want to zoom in on the important stuff, pull out the key insights, and kind of connect the dots.
So you can get a clearer picture of what's actually happening in AI right now, why it matters.
And maybe stumble on a few surprising things along the way.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Our sources are pointing to something really significant, something they're calling not just another AI trend.
Agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
Yeah, and this is a pretty fundamental shift, For a while, the focus was all on the models themselves.
Making them bigger, better, faster at generating text or images from a prompt.
But agentic AI, it's different. These systems, they don't just respond, they act.
They initiate tasks, plan things out, coordinate.
Exactly. Think about a system that takes a high-level goal, breaks it down, figures out what tools or external systems it needs, executes those steps on its own, and adapts if something changes or goes wrong.
So the focus isn't just the brain, the model, it's the whole autonomous system working out there.
Precisely. Moving from model-centric to system-centric. And we're already seeing this drive real results.
Like Blue Yonder using agents to reshape autonomous supply chains.
Right. Or Amplitude using them to speed up product decisions, like having AI consultants analyze data and suggest what to do next.
Wow.
Salesforce is using them to scale personalized fan engagement for sports teams.
And financial services.
Yeah.
Using coding agents to guide developers.
Yeah, automating compliance checks, boilerplate code, that kind of thing.
So the key takeaway here seems to be this isn't theoretical, it's being built now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Deployed today, automating complex stuff, driving business value.
And this focus on action is leading to practical innovations in building them, right? Like giving agents access to external tools.
Yes. Tool-augmented agents. That's a huge theme. Apple's framework, for instance, lets developers define tools agents can use.
Like accessing MapKit to find nearby places on its own.
Exactly. Autonomously.
I saw some really neat ideas bubbling up in online communities, too.
Yeah.
Like an AI grocery shopper. An agent that logs into different store apps, fills your cart, then compares prices item by item across, say, Walmart, Kroger, Aldi.
And tells you the cheapest combo and where to buy each thing.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. Coordinating multiple tools, processing data, achieving a goal.
Or another idea, an agent for customer retention. Monitoring user behavior, sending personalized outreach.
Escalating to a human if someone looks like they might churn.
Right. And then there are concepts like Propia AI, aiming for no-code agent creation.
Letting anyone build custom agents, personalized tone, memory, integrating business APIs. Yeah, that's the direction.
One really fascinating example in the sources really tested the architecture. Building an AI call screener.
Oh, the Granny AI.
Granny AI, that sounds amazing. Designed to waste scammers' time.
It was pretty wild. It used a sophisticated low-latency speech-to-speech pipeline, context engine, autonomous decisions, tool access like checking a calendar. And the Granny persona was designed to just keep them talking. It really pushed the system. Calls went up to 47 minutes.
And the scammers couldn't tell it was AI.
Apparently not. But it wasn't just a stunt. It directly informed their actual product.
Ah, so the challenges and successes fed back into the real thing.
Exactly. And the results for their production system are impressive. 99.2% spam detection, tiny false positive rate, like 0.3%.
Right.
And handling 84% of real calls autonomously, it learned, it adapted.
And beyond calls, sources mention experiments with agents controlling mobile apps, like Claude trying to use an iPhone.
Yeah, exploring if systems like Claude's computer use could navigate and interact with phones. Still early days on that, though.
This all highlights a growing need for specific skills, doesn't it? The sources talk about an agentic skills gap.
Definitely. Companies are hiring now for agent design, orchestration, memory systems, tool chaining.
It's not just about training models anymore.
No. You need to know how to make them do things reliably, safely, out in the messy real world.
Which explains things like the Agentic AI Summit 2025, happening virtually in July.
Right. Positioned as a practical boot camp,
Yep.
covering architectures, planning, memory, tools, frameworks like Crew AI, Autogen, Langrad.
Multi-agent systems, too, making them work together.
Yeah, tool chaining, self-healing workflows, coordinating distributed agents, plus evaluation, deployment. They even give out toolboxes with code notebooks and templates.
But it's not all smooth sailing. One source pointed out a core fallacy in development right now.
Yeah, this is a critical point for developers. There's this disconnect, right?
Between the frameworks you use for tuning agents.
Like DSPy or Synalinks, which help optimize how models choose tools or format outputs.
And the frameworks you use for production.
Exactly. Like LangGraph or Autogen, built for orchestration and putting things into real applications.
So you optimize in one place, but struggle to get that optimization into the system that actually runs for users.
Pretty much. Tuning frameworks are great for finding the right settings, but often lack production features. The production ones have the plumbing, but don't easily support that kind of automatic optimization from data.
Leads to lots of manual trial and error, making it hard to scale prototypes.
You got it. A real bottleneck.
Okay, so while we're figuring out how to build these acting agents, there's still this fundamental debate about what AI is, right? Its limits.
Oh, yeah. The illusion of thinking discussion is definitely still going strong.
Apple's research paper leaned into that, arguing LLMs are mainly pattern matchers, not really reasoning.
They use puzzles like the Tower of Hanoi versus the river crossing problem. Models did okay on Tower of Hanoi, which is more algorithmic, but struggled with the river crossing, which requires more complex planning and reasoning about states.
But the industry often pushes back, saying practical capability matters more than defining thinking.
Right. And suggesting failures might be down to current limits, context windows being too small for long sequences like Hanoi, or just the difficulty of complex planning like the river crossing.
Not necessarily a fundamental lack of reasoning ability, but maybe limitations of the current tech.
Could be. It shows there are still clear, demonstrated limits, like ChatGPT getting beaten at chess.
By an Atari 2600 simulator from 1977?
Yeah. A great reminder that AI excels at some things, struggles with others that seem simple to us.
Sources also mention models getting stuck in loops or misunderstandings during conversations.
Recovering context can be hard for them sometimes.
And then there's the whole memorization issue.
Right. Models inadvertently memorizing training data, including copyrighted stuff.
Like Meta's AI apparently reciting chunks of Harry Potter.
Exactly, which feeds directly into these huge legal challenges. Disney, Universal suing platforms like Midjourney over image generation.
Alleging copyright infringement because their characters were likely in the training data without permission.
That's the core of the argument. Billions could be at stake.
Which points to another big challenge mentioned, the AI verification gap.
Yeah, as these systems get more complex and autonomous, just checking their output, making sure it's accurate, reliable, safe, gets harder and harder.
And that difficulty leads us straight into AI's broader impact across society. Education seems like a major area.
Huge changes happening fast. A UK survey showed a massive jump in students using generative AI just in the last year.
It's becoming common for students and staff now.
But there are worries. Students themselves talking about brain rot.
Fearing they'll skip learning steps, not develop core skills, because AI makes it too easy.
That's the concern. Universities are reacting differently. Ohio State is going all in.
Requiring all students to use AI in class this fall.
Yeah, they want students to be bilingual, fluent in their field, and in applying AI within it.
On the flip side, potential benefits, too. The UK Tech Secretary suggested AI could help level opportunities, maybe for dyslexic kids.
Helping assess abilities where human capacity is limited, potentially.
But then the negative uses crop up, too. Scammers using AI.
Reportedly, yeah. Facilitating student loan fraud, enrolling ghost students with stolen info.
Which leads to specific regulations, like China restricting AI chatbot features during exams.
To prevent cheating, yeah. A direct response.
Okay, shifting to business. The sources really stress that success isn't just tech, it's strategy.
Absolutely. Companies like Turing emphasize business alignment, workforce readiness, the right infrastructure. Critical factors.
Starting with the tech, not the problem. That's risky.
A common way pilot projects fail, according to them. You need to know why you're using it.
We see this in specific industries, too. Financial services like Standard Chartered, using AI for fraud and anti-money laundering.
But wrestling with that tension between automated rules and human judgment, careful deployment is key to keep humans in the loop.
One area with lots of detail in the sources is software QA. AI is doing a lot there.
Oh, yeah. Intelligent test case generation, optimizing tests based on code analysis, user behavior, reducing maintenance.
And self-healing scripts, adapting to UI changes using computer vision.
Right, less manual updating. Plus, natural language test creation, writing tests in English, AI makes them code.
AI is also optimizing which tests to run, prioritizing based on risk.
Yeah, based on code changes, historical data. Also, aiding performance testing, predictive load modeling, anomaly detection.
The benefits seem clear. Saves time, better coverage, less coding needed, faster development cycles.
Definitely making QA more efficient and effective.
And this changes hiring, obviously. Demand for roles like agentic AI engineer, AI specialist for cloud platforms.
And it changes expectations for everyone else. Workforce readiness is key.
Like Canva, requiring developers to use AI coding assistants in their interviews.
Yeah, that signals proficiency with these tools is becoming a baseline expectation, you know?
Okay, creative industries and content. We touched on the copyright lawsuits.
Disney, Universal versus image generators, big ones.
And pushback from humans, too. Wikipedia editors pausing AI summaries, calling them yuck.
Yeah, shows the need for quality control, and maybe human taste still matters.
On the content side, sources talk about GEO, generative engine optimization.
It's like the next step from SEO. SEO is about charming the search algorithm, right?
Way to rank high.
GEO is about making your content easy for generative AI to read, understand, and use in its answers.
Because tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity are answering questions directly now.
Exactly. And that could mean less traffic going to traditional websites from search engines over time. So making your content AI-friendly becomes important.
Any tips on how to do that?
Sources say, put key info up front, cover topics fully with related questions and synonyms, use facts, stats, quotes.
Facts and stats help.
Yeah, a Princeton study found including them boosted the chance of being referenced by about 40%. Also, format for scanning lists, takeaways. Helps the AI grab the main points.
Interesting. Even AI companies are figuring this out. Anthropic shut down its own AI-written blog.
Yeah, Claude explains. Pulled it pretty quickly after launch. Shows everyone's still experimenting with the best way to use this stuff, even the creators.
Okay, let's zoom out to the broader ecosystem. The money involved is just staggering.
Yeah, the revenue run rates cited are huge. OpenAI at $10 billion, Anthropic $3 billion, even the coding startup Cursor at $500 million.
Shows businesses are really paying significant money for these capabilities now.
It's not just hype. There's real commercial value being generated.
And the big players are making major strategic moves. OpenAI adding connectors.
Integrating ChatGPT with Google Drive, SharePoint, GitHub, and record mode for meeting summaries, action items.
Directly targeting productivity workflows dominated by Microsoft and Google.
Looks like it, which makes Microsoft's strategy interesting too.
They seem to be shifting. Less focus only on their own models.
More on being the platform via Azure for others to build agents. Moving towards consumption pricing. It's like co-opetition with OpenAI. Both partners and rivals.
Meta's investing heavily too, right? Scale AI, Lamar for reinforcement learning.
Pouring billions into infrastructure and research.
And the developer toolkit keeps growing. Alibaba's Qwen models for embedding, re-ranking.
Strong open source options. And NVIDIA's Llama Nematron Nano VL for complex document understanding, OCR.
All built on incredibly complex hardware. NVIDIA's Blackwell superchip, Omniverse for industrial stuff.
The foundation is massive R&D in silicon and systems.
There's even discussion about whether AI efficiency might improve faster than hardware production can keep up.
Yeah, could efficiency gains maybe ease some of the chip shortage pressure? It's a debate.
Now, crucially, safety and security. AI is definitely a double-edged sword here.
Absolutely. Sources say 72% of Indian firms got hit by AI-powered cyber attacks last year.
Well, 72%.
Attackers use AI for faster, better attacks, AI-generated phishing, mutating malware.
But it's also essential for defense.
Yeah, enabling layered security, AI platforms, rule systems, human oversight working together. But cybersecurity teams are burning out from the complexity.
And there are AI-specific vulnerabilities. AI code creating risks. Prompt injection.
Right. Prompt injection, or LLM scope violation, as one source called it, tricking the model into doing things it shouldn't by hiding instructions in its input.
Which means we need guardrails, like Llama Firewall.
An open source example, yeah. Designed to detect prompt injections, check agent alignment, keep things on track.
And sources stress ethical AI isn't just nice to have, it's good business. Building trust.
Paramount. Plus, we see legal actions evolving, like OpenAI being ordered to preserve all ChatGPT user logs.
Finally, geopolitics. AI is critical for nations now.
Competitiveness, national security. Australia, for example, feels it needs to embrace AI to avoid just being an end user in global supply chains. Governments are planning regulations.
And the link to national security is clear: cyber, defense, border control.
Yeah. And in that context of border control, one source mentioned the current situation with U.S. Marines and National Guard helping IC agents in L.A.
Just highlighting that alongside future tech possibilities, human agents are very much central to current enforcement operations.
It underscores that complex interplay between human systems and technology and how governments function.
Wow, okay, that was a lot to unpack.
It really covers a lot of ground.
From autonomous agents planning tasks and battling scammers, to copyright fights and getting beaten at chess by an Atari from 1977.
AI is genuinely reshaping almost everything.
And understanding these shifts, it isn't just academic anymore, is it? It feels essential.
Yeah, essential for navigating work, learning, just daily life as AI gets more integrated. It really takes critical thinking, to see past the hype, grasp the limits, and figure out how to use these tools well.
Right. Responsibly.
Responsibly, yeah.
So as you think about all this, here's maybe a final thought, drawing on the questions raised in our sources today. As these AI agents get more autonomous, more integrated into critical areas like finance, healthcare, education, where do we draw that line?
The line between automating for efficiency and keeping that essential human judgment and oversight, that feels like a big one. Or maybe the more immediate question, given the whole debate about whether AI really reasons or just pattern matches extremely well, does that philosophical difference actually matter as much as the practical impact these tools are having right now?
That's a good question to ponder, something to keep in mind as you encounter AI out there.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.